Is imposter syndrome real? Welcome to the School of Self-Worth Live. I'm Sam Osborne, the Self-Worth Guy. Today we're talking about whether imposter syndrome is real. And if you remember one thing from this video, it's you're not an imposter. You're becoming an expert. And I'm going to talk about three realities of imposter syndrome right now. The first one is that your suspicions are real about imposter syndrome. Number two is that, let me check my notes, it's not your fault that you feel like an imposter. And number three is to go after your dreams to become an expert. Let's go through those three things with a little bit more elaboration. So is imposter syndrome real? Well, you're not an imposter. You are not an imposter. You are becoming an expert. Let's talk about the first one. Firstly, your suspicions are real. The fact that you feel like an imposter, that's a reality. No one can deny that. That's your subjective feeling. If you feel like one, that feeling is real, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are one. Okay, so a lot of people go through this. It can be due to not feeling good enough, feeling like you're out of your depth, maybe feeling like you're not worthy of some position of authority or being an expert. So your suspicions of being an imposter are real, but I'm going to say that imposter syndrome is not entirely real. It's a process of transformation to become an expert. It's actually a good thing. If you're feeling like an imposter, it means that there's a part of you that wants to become authentic, and you have to kind of break out of that eggshell state of mind of feeling like an imposter to become an expert. Let's go on to the second point. The second point is that it's not your fault that you feel like an imposter, because we are not trained at school to be prepared for this. I don't think it's actually a topic in any curriculum, in any school really, especially not elementary or high school. And so it's not your fault that you might feel like an imposter. It's not really a topic that gets talked around the table at homes across the world, or it's fortunately being talked a lot about on social media, which is great. But it's not your fault that you feel like an imposter. And I'm going to say that when you start to feel like an imposter, it's because, you are becoming an expert. Let's talk about the third point. I want you to go after your dreams to become an expert. Now, if you're feeling like an imposter and you want to become an expert, you want to be your authentic self, right? So you have to understand that the road to becoming an expert is going to be filled with moments where you don't feel like you're good enough, where you feel like you're out of your depth. But these are totally normal, healthy feelings. It's okay to feel like that sometimes. So what it is actually a sign is to humble yourself, to be grateful for what you have in your life, and to do a check-in with yourself and say, well, hang on a second. There are some things that I've done that I deserve, my accomplishments. I've put some hard work in, and becoming an expert is hard work. You've got to put in the hours. You've got to go through the feelings of failure, making mistakes. And that's what it takes to become an expert. So that's why I say your suspicions of feeling like an imposter are real, but imposter syndrome is not real. I wonder if that makes sense. And then it's not your fault that you feel like an imposter, because no one really talks or trains us around this topic of what to do when we feel like an imposter. So go after your dreams, become an expert. Go after your dreams to become an expert. Go through the motions. You have to basically push through, muster all of the strength you can to get through this feeling. And it's okay if imposter syndrome comes back. It came back for me when I thought it had gone. Just recently, when I started doing these videos and I'm looking up all this information about imposter syndrome, and I'm seeing all of these highly qualified authors on the internet and on Amazon who've got doctor in front of their name and PhD at the end of the name. And I thought, well, I'm not as good as those people. Who am I to possibly talk about imposter syndrome? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm sure that there are some people that I still relate to coming from my background. I'm a high school teacher, educator. I love the topic. I want to serve the world. That's a good enough place to start, don't you think? So let's summarize. Is imposter syndrome real? The thing I want you to remember is you're not an imposter. You are becoming an expert, and that your suspicions are real about feeling like an imposter. It's not your fault that you feel like one, but to go after your dreams to become an expert. So that's what I want you to think about this week. And if you've enjoyed this video, I've got a free gift for you. It's called Crush Imposter Syndrome Forever, the starter kit for bulletproof confidence. And you can get it at the links above or at samosborn.com/starter kit. And I invite you to join the School of Self-Worth Facebook group. The links are provided as well. And if you remember one thing from this video, it's you're not an imposter. You're becoming an expert. All right, everybody, have a great day.